It's Matt here for Newsshooter.com at IBC 2019 and with Florian at the ARRI booth. Now this is your new orbiter system. Just firstly, how long has this been in development for?
Quite a while, I have to say. And also the ideas are in there for longer. But it has been a long way to achieve what we wanted to achieve because it comes with so many different things we have to create anew. Just for instance, we use LEDs, no one else in the industry uses. So also with that respect, we had to wait for some time until the LEDs are available. So we can really come up with a small light source. It's 76 times smaller than the L10, but using the same power, about 400 watt. So you see, you can only realize that if you really use the latest components as well. And of course, with digital light sources, you need a lot of components. There was no need in the past with HMI or tungsten. And therefore, a lot of those things were not available in the past. But overall, it has been quite a while. You know, when the first ideas were there, on my side or also on the technology roadmap, that was some days in the past. But I would say, as we use a lot of ideas which we created for the Sky Pill already, you know, we can't say there was one day we started all off. It has been developed and rising for the last 18 months or something like that. But we were all in need, I think the entire industry, for a point light source. There is no one in LED as far as I know. And that is a huge achievement, a huge change between was in the past, what we created here, and of course what we will use in the future.
How important was this to make this system like extremely versatile so it could be used? It's almost like a Swiss Army knife of LED lights.
Thank you very much for coming up with that synonym. That is actually something which we had in mind. The Sky Panel is already approved that the versatility, but also having the possibility with one hardware and a bunch of accessories and the firmware changes to make it, let's say, future-proof. And of course, this is what we need to extend then, also with future products, and the orbiter is the one, basically the result of it. So the idea is to have one fixture, but turn it into many lights in terms of the field of light. Being fully upgradable in future, we have much more memory, 125 times the memory compared to a Sky Panel. And we have a much more faster processor. This is basically even more an advanced computer emitting light. And by far it's technically the most advanced luminaire we have ever built. But always versatility in mind and also the future-proof, it always in the sense of application. So that our user, but also our customers are mainly, you know, the rentals and the dealers, but the users are the guys, the lighting crews on set, broadcast, but also theater and photo video. So many different people for many different applications. And this is the idea is to solve their most requests or needs today and of course in the future as well. We have a bunch of connectors in there, wireless as well, but we're the first ones, I think we're the first ones, coming up with 2 Ethercon ports. So this is made to perfectly work in TCP IP networks. It of course comes with ArtNet and streaming ACN, but it comes with Ethernet daisy chain possibility. And modern network technology, digital networks, really rely on that. And also in the sense of supporting these requirements, we have created Orbiter that way. And beside the spigot, which you can see right here, everything is new. The mechanics, the electronics, the light engine, the firmware, it's called the Lighting Operating System, LIOS, and also the control panel. It is a 4-inch high-resolution graphical interface. Gives you a total different style of workflow. It's very similar to what, if you know Stellar, it's our lighting app, it follows the same workflow and idea. I think it's great.
What I was going to ask you about too is there's a whole bunch of sensors actually on this light that are reading a whole bunch of information, which is probably an industry first as well.
Actually, I do not really know whether we're the first ones, but I believe that is also one step to be prepared for future need. It's of course also to increase the user experience and the control over the product, but in addition, I feel it's about workflow. I really hear a lot about, we talk about DITs and post a lot, and there they say they want data, they need more data. And the way you create data is you have sensors. And therefore we come up, of course we have heat sensors. Those I would say basic requirement for LED light sources. But we have 3-axis accelerometer, a magnetometer, We have also ambient light meter, and we have a color sensor on top. So a bunch of addition sensors to give you more feedback, more information about the status of the product, but also on the actual usage. And all this data will be available. We're thinking about something like MXF for later use like Post as well. And I think that is really interesting. As I said, it's about the workflow. Smaller teams, a lot of pressure, keep going, be focused, be quick and fast. And that is the idea also about the versatility.
And has ARRI had to sort of learn a lot along the way, because we've gone from traditional lighting sources that didn't have computers and all sorts of software and firmware and upgradable technology inside them. So from your perspective, has ARRI had to sort of like learn as they've gone along? Because now it's almost like the software is just as important as the hardware.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is. Talking about hardware, it's optics. Especially with the projection optics, you have to have a lot of knowledge and experience in optics. But nonetheless, I can tell you that the number of software engineers has increased a lot in the last years. And we have even more software engineers than hardware engineers, just in hardware of electronics. But that's necessary. In the beginning, it was more about hardware. Later on, it was a lot of hardware includes, of course, accessories. But then, of course, it is all about the software. That was the reason why we had 4 major releases for SkyPanel. The next level, again, is about communication. I spoke about various protocols, and that includes now wireless. So we came up with Skylink. We also have an S360, a Lumen Radio solution. We have the Lumen Radio in here as well. The last step was about control. You add features, you make the handling more complex and complicated. And so we came up with Stellar, the lighting app, to simplify the way to control it and to realize networks in a way. So what has started with hardware has been created, now has changed to be an ecosystem. Hardware, software, communication and control. And all this is needed and necessary. The early days might have been a lot of different, I can't say easier, in some way, because they had to be more creative to realize effects of certain things. Just think about a process effect. The gaffers all know, with the lighting crews, how they do a process effect. With SkyPanel, you do it, just press a knob. And of course, those effects, by the way, are built in an orbiter as well. I don't say that people in the older days were not possible to realize everything that was required. They were. But now they can do it in a more convenient way, comfortable and flexible, to save time. I'm a big fan of what we call a live grading, to get people to react on light changes on set and not everything to be fixed in the post. And I believe that this is still with digital recording, going away from film, now having all the dailies, all the speed possibilities, everything must be quick. And giving now you the possibility to be creative, again, on set, of course, also in studio design, something like that, gives a kind of flexibility and makes the work, maybe you can enjoy it a little bit more, yeah? It could be done with more ease, and then a little bit more playful with the tools. We are a tool manufacturer for the artists outside, and we hope that we provide the right tool, and if you call it a Swiss Army knife, we are more than happy about that comparison.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Charmin.